Hello friends, welcome to bisptrainings.com. My name is Amit and today I am going to show you live example of how to calculate salary forecast using business rule, salary forecast business rule. We will be doing this example using calculation manager and we'll be using Hyperion planning 11.124, the latest release. So as always, first we understand the requirement and we design a calculation business rule for salary forecast. I'll take you directly to the requirement so that it becomes easy to understand. First I log into my this is my data form in which we are going to work. Let me clear the existing data and do the fresh data load so that we can understand very well. I'm going to delete the existing data and we test it what exactly the requirement is. So this is my data form where I'm going to forecast my salaries and other expenses. So we are trying to forecast current year, next quarter salaries and other expenses we are forecasting. So the either input over here, user input, I'll be inputting value for my current year, which is 2015, and next quarter is April, May, June. I'll input value over here, head count and average salary of the employees and employee benefit percentage. It is percentage, so that I give value in 0.1, which turns out to be 10%. So I input head count, average salaries and employee benefits. When I save this, I see in this we make our data form a prompt as visible. You see when I input my salaries and head count and average salary of all the employees, my total salary gets calculated. So my total salary equals to head count multiplied by average salary of all the employees, and employee benefit is a 10% of my total salary, which is 10% of my 1000 is equal to 1000, and my total salary is 11,000. See, once again I input value to my head count, average salary and percentage, benefit percentage, employee benefit percentage, right? And when I save it, my business rule gets called and I could see over here total salaries, head count multiplied by average salary of all the employees and employee benefit percentage, which is 20% of my total salary, 2,400. So my total employee expenses are 14,400. Right? This is my requirement and this is what we are going to solve it step by step. So I already have written one business rule over here. I'm going to show you this and then we're going to write this step by step. Let me walk you through with this business rule. So first I am going to start as always we do housekeeping. We turn off intelligent calculation and aggregate missing, turn on. Okay. Then I want the whole calculation should take place. My basic calculation is this: the salary equals to head count multiplied by average salary of all the employees, and this value I like to round it off to 2 decimal places, and average salary and head count multiply and the value go to my salaries member. Similarly, we have got miscellaneous employee expense, which is total salaries multiplied by employee benefit percentage. This is 2 formula we have. I want this formula to be calculated only for current year and next quarter, right? So I use CY is my variable, my substitution variable, and I use is member, so it will calculate only for the current member of current year. Okay, and it will calculate descendant of my next quarter, which is going to be my April, May and June, right? And I want this calculation to be taken place, so for a specific member, so we apply fix and fix over here. This calculation I want to be taken place only for working version, and this 000 is no entity. I don't want this to be calculated for any entity, so I use no entity over here, which I represent at 000, and no product, which P_30, no product, right? This is our business rule. Let's see how to write this. So I'll open my business rule, my calculation manager interface, and I'm going to write this. So open calculation manager, under navigate, administration, calculation manager. The default view is called system view. So please refer my first video of Calculation Manager Introduction in case you have not seen it. It takes little time to open this. So we create a new, the default view is called System View. We create calculation step by step. Calculation Manager is available for HFM, planning and SPS, all three. I'll open my application. Name of my application is Practice Application 3. I'm going to create a new calculation over here. So under Rule section, right click, New Rule. So I name it over here, Salary Forecast Test. I'm going to create a prototype, and once it works, we'll test it. If it works, we'll promote this for actual calculation. Okay. Let's start with basics. So the default view is Designer View, which is graphical view, and you need to write your calculation between begin and end. Right. So first I'll write a step by step. We write a first formula for, first I calculate my total salaries. Then I calculate my miscellaneous expenses, and then we apply if condition, a fixed statement. So this is a formula. You have two options, member formula and formula. I'll be using formula over here. Whatever appear before equals to, it's your destination, and whatever appear after equals to, it's your source. I can select type a member over here directly, or you can select a member. If you're not very sure about it, you can select member. So this is my account dimension member. I've got common chart of account and statistics. So this is my salaries member. Under, let me expand this. On the total employee expenses, I've got an element called salaries. I want salaries multiplied by total salaries to be calculated. Sorry, this is my destination. Total salary equals to head count multiplied by average salary. I can select a head count from here. Browse, expense, driver assumption. Head count is basically my driver, allocation driver. I use head count multiplied by average salary, average employee salary. Member, select average salaries of all employee. So the first part of my calculation is done. Pretty simple. I can save it and switch to edit script mode. Basically, personally I like edit script mode. I don't like GUI. So I could see a simple calculation script got created, right? Before we proceed further, we'll test it step by step in order to ensure that we are moving towards the right direction. So once you create your calculation script, save it, validate for any syntactical error, right? And then deploy. Every calculation has to deploy. So I'll switch from system view to deployment view. Select view, deployment view. Open your application. Your business rule fall under to be deployed, called test salary forecast. Right click and deploy. Deployment done. No error so far. We'll associate this with our data form and test it. So now I open my data form. I open my data form in edit mode. I edit this and associate this business rule, newly created business rule, with my data form and test. First we test total salaries. Test salary forecast. And this business rule I want to be executed on save. Run on save. We associate an event, run on save. Save and finish. Now we test it. So I clear all the data for the sake of testing, and we put a new data over here. Don't need to clear it because I want it to demonstrate to you, and therefore I'm going to clear this. Clear all data, refresh it, and put a new number over here. So I put head count and average salary. Right now we have written formula only for salaries. Right? Save it. On save, the business rule gets executed, and you see 10 multiplied by 1000 is 10,000. So far my business rule is correct. Salaries. Go back over here and append now. Now I'm going to calculate miscellaneous expenses. miscellaneous employee expenses, salaries into employee benefit percentage. So I drag and drop another formula over here and put it over here, and I write all will go to the destination would be miscellaneous employee expense, salaries into employee benefit percent. So miscellaneous employee expense, I can select member from here, miscellaneous employee expense, this is the member, this is my destination, and my source is going to be my salaries into employee benefit percentage. Right. Once again we save it and go your script editor and look at the script, edit script. This is how you should go step by step in the beginning. Once you become comfortable, you can write multiple statements together. I validate and find validation passed, no error. Every time you modify, you need to deploy your rules. So I'm going to deploy it once again. Once again I switch my view from deployment view and redeploy it. Right click and deploy. Once again after deploy I'll test it, and this time it should calculate my miscellaneous expenses as well. So I say miscellaneous expenses 20% of my salaries, that should be 2000. So I save it. If everything is correct, miscellaneous expenses to be calculated, yes. Miscellaneous expenses and total employee expenses gets calculated. Now I want this to be calculation should be taken place only for current year and next quarter. Current year, next quarter are my substitution variables. You can see it over here under your S space. You can right click and edit variables. Substitution variable I use current year, which is 2015, and next quarter is quarter 2. And I'm going to use children of current year, descendant of next quarter and current year. So I'll add a conditional expression over here. I switch to deployment view to system view, open my business rule once again, and I add a conditional expression over here under my designer view. Drag and drop, use a conditional expression, and I want these two formulas should be calculated only if condition is true. So I drag and drop, put under my if condition. What is your condition? I'm going to write a condition over here. If is member. In the previous session we already discussed about is member is children. Is member will be to be executed only for the given member. I'm using a variable over here for current year, and is descendant for current next quarter. Right? Write this condition, and you can save it and go to editor view and ensure the condition is going to be executed the way you want. So that's perfect. This is going to be calculated current year next quarter. Once again you can validate, validation pass, and we do step by step. Once it is validated, I'm going to deploy it and test once again step by step. Right click and redeploy. So this time in order to test your if condition is working or not, we use current year, next quarter and current quarter. So calculation should be taking place only for current quarter. Right? I'll put some value over here for next quarter, sorry. Headcount 10, this is my average salary and 15%. Same number I give over here. This is my current quarter, and as per our condition it should calculate only for next quarter, not for current quarter. Done, and then save it. The moment you save, see calculation taking place for my May, which is next quarter, but not for my January because condition doesn't meet for this criteria. Okay, so up to if condition we have done, everything is correct. Now we add a global expression, global context using fixed expression. Right? I want this to be calculated only for current forecast, working version, no entity, no product. Okay. So I right click and add it, open this, and I use a context over here. Go to move to designer view and define a member range. Drag and drop. Put a member range over here. Right, and I want member range to be the whole member range. Everything work under member range. I put my condition under this. Right. So what is the member range? I want this to be calculated only for working version, which is version dimension. I select working version, member, for no product, which is P00, P_00. This is my no product, and we have got entity, which is department over here, no department, member, no entity or no department. I'll select no department. This is no department in this case. It is represented by 000, right? And you save it once again and validate. The last thing you like to do it, maybe you like to add a round function on top of this. You can directly type it over there. You can use the function. You can type it over there as well. If you type it, modify a script, you lose your designer view. You see my fixed expression apply on working, no entity, and no product. Right? I like to apply round function, and I want this to be round off to 2 decimal values, isn't it? Save it. Right? Similar fashion you can apply round for miscellaneous expenses. Save it, validate. You can save and validate both together in one go, and after this you modify, you once again deploy. Move to your deployment view, redeploy, right click and redeploy. Perfect. The final testing we do. Before that, I like to delete all the existing data just to ensure that you're working on the latest numbers. Right click and clear all data. Go to your data form, refresh it. You don't see any number over here. I give head count 5, average salary, employee benefit 20%, head count, employee salary, and employee benefit. Save it. On save, this should run. On save, you see 1000 into 5, 5000, 20% of 1000, 5000 is 1000. This too gets calculated correct, and this too also gets calculated. The value, this value will not be calculating for January, February, March as well, because the condition doesn't meet. I save, nothing happened over here, right? And this is how you can write a business rule. Calculation associated with data form. That's it for today. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to access more than 1000 more videos in Hyperion planning, airspace, HFM, strategy finance, performance scorecard, and profitability and cost management. In next video, I am going to show you how to perform basic to advanced allocation. Thanks for joining today's session. Should you have training and consulting requirement, please visit our site www.bisptrainings.com and bispsolutions.com.